The last thing is I started this company called Cool Energy. It actually does mass action on climate, okay? And we thought up something. It's never been done in the world. All the carbon trading has mostly been in India and China, and it's all been about large industrial organizations that create very potent gases, collecting them, burning them off, and creating carbon credits. It's been a great success because countries like ours that did sign up can't do their own emissions internally, and they have to go and buy them from developing countries, which cleans up Developing Countries Act at the cost of sluggish developed countries. Nice. That makes perfect sense to me. Good policy. So the trouble is, though, one of its real goals was to do something about anti-poverty. Now, the trouble with the clean development mechanism and creating carbon credits is it was only working in industrial areas, and it was only working in China and India. So, but there is a way that you can do it. It's just no one had done it because it's really expensive. So I spent $5 million in the last 2 years developing the first ever United Nations credits that can be created and then lumped together in an individual's home. And President Calderon, just before the launch of Copenhagen COP16, which is now happening in Cancun in Mexico in a month's time, will announce that we're going to change 45 million light globes. That's half of the light globes of the poor people in Mexico. As a consequence of doing that, poor people will save about a month's income every single year in terms of not having to buy energy that they did with their previous lighting. It means for those poor people, it's about $350 million aggregated a year saving. Because electricity is so expensive, though, it's a direct saving to the Mexican government, who subsidize their energy at 50%. So they also, the Mexican government, save $350 million a year in direct subsidy out of Treasury. That's $700 million into Mexico, split between the poorest people, bottom 50%, and the Mexican government. The whole USAID budget last year into Mexico was $30 million. 700 million, little carbon trading thing from a company in Australia who aren't yet in a country that signed up to Kyoto. Oh, ratified. The interesting thing about it, and where I struggle then with the law, is that we put that together. The World Bank sold our credits. They have a carbon trading arm. They also have a debt arm. And they sold our credits. They never spoke to us about it. They sold them to the Danish government. The Danish government went through Treasury and said, these are great credits. These are the first credits. They're the first credits in the world called gold standard, which means they don't only do the environment, they really care for the people of that environment. So these are first gold standards. Well, lots of people wanted some. The World Bank sold them to the Danish government. The Danish Treasury said, yes, we'll buy them. And the Danish treasurer, someone in Treasury came up to me and said, thank you, I've just heard you speak, we bought your credits. I said, no, you haven't. I've just sold them to a power company called Eneco. And he said, no, we bought them. I said, no, you haven't. I've sold them to a power company. He said, we just bought them from the World Bank. It's just gone through Treasury. I'm saying, you haven't. They're mine. It's my company. I paid for the POA. They're my credits. You're not getting them. I found out this week that the World Bank is currently loaning the Mexican government the money for them to put into the light globes. They are also the commercial advisors on how to get the credits out of the country. They are also currently advising the Mexican government that maybe they don't want to do and take the credits from the organization that's put this program together and invested in it, and that maybe they might want to do it, and the World Bank will create a new United Nations protocol for delivering these, and then they would get the credits. I got really upset about this because obviously, apart from my house, my life, and my kids and all those kind of things, it was actually the role of the World Bank is actually to build commerce in developing countries. So I phoned up a friend of mine who's an international lawyer to say, I really would like to do something about this because it doesn't seem fair. And he said, well, the trouble is the World Bank is owned by nation states and it's above the law. Now, it seems to me that, I don't know much about the World Bank, but I've been finding out a lot about it in the last few weeks. And I think we'll win. And I think we'll win because we've just partnered with some very big banks around the world to deliver this. And I think they'll beat them because they know them well. But it's interesting for me, as somebody who spent my life trying to do this through activism, to find myself in a place where when I look at the things that have significantly changed the world, whether it was starting by acknowledging the land that we stand on, it's been done by the law. The question to you is that an accident because somebody else paid you to do it? Or was it an active choice to put yourself in the place where you would get the cases that made the world a better place? That's your choice. Who are you? Where do you place yourself? And how do you decide what you choose to be in every single day? My fear is it's more accident than choice. That's only my fear, and you might tell me it's different. Thank you.